Alright, hey everybody. Sorry that things were a little weird there for a moment. I'm on a little later and you're probably going to be hearing a cat playing in the background just because oh, here we go. You're probably going to be hearing a cat playing in the background cuz Sophie is really hyper right now. Before I get too into this, let me try to get some background music or something like that going on here. Let's see, audio capture, let's do music. Okay. And we'll minimize that. I know it's a little bit before anybody gets on here, but a little recap for those who haven't been following this as closely. I have been putting a game together, and it's following a universe that I've created that is a story that I want to tell that is, well, parabolic for spiritual warfare, and it's been something that's been in the works for a good number of years, probably all the way back since back in 2021. And so far, oh, hey Corey, did you just start? Yes, I just started. My wife and I had lunch a little later, and that delayed the startup and everything, but yeah, that was absolutely fine. I'd rather spend a little extra time with her and be in places that are important. You know, this can happen when it happens. But yeah, you're just catching me at the start of the stream. And a little progress report. Well, not necessarily that, but to show where this is at so far. I'll just kind of play through what I have. Alright, and then, we've seen where the pickups work and everything like that. But something I have done is I made it to where the creeper has walking animations. You'll see where the grunt will also have walking animations. And then I have a sound cue for where if you shoot at an enemy and you hit it, then you actually have, it plays a sound so you know that your shots are landing. And I'm going to work on a few other elements and everything just because, I feel like I'm just kind of hacking away at this as I can. Last time on Firebrand Live. Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. Hold on a second, let me close this door here. Okay. So, let's see. One thing I think I'm wanting to do, let's see, on the UI layer, I'm going to put this actually, Z layer. Nice progress, perfect narration voice, by the way. I get it honest. I had both my parents were actually in radio when they met, and then somewhere along the way they ended up circling back around to being involved in radio somehow. And I mean, I had it to where, being around mom and dad so much in the station, I saw, I picked up on a lot of their radio voice. I don't know if mannerisms is the right word, but it was like they'd have this mode that they go in whenever they were on the air. They were still the people that they were, but they'd have a way that they would lock in so that they would be as articulate and as pronounced as possible. Let's see here. Let's put this on 1. kind of want... Okay. I'm just looking around at like what elements I have. It's like voice stacking in a sense. Yeah, it absolutely is. It's yeah, in every sense of the word. Okay, so like I said, I got my postal animations and stuff like that. Let's see. I'm gonna edit an event here to see if I can. Because something I'm trying to do is make it to where if you, when the grunt's shooting at you, it's still, but whenever it's reloading, so to say, because I've got something that would be helpful, something that I figure would be the best practice anyway, is programming a rhythm that the robots that have guns, having a rhythm that they shoot at so you can time whenever you have to come out of cover, or you can realize when there's an opening, whatever the case may be. And on that, and in the rhythm where they are not firing, they're at least trying to go towards you and close the gap. And I'm thinking I'm probably going to have to use another behavior function on the grunt, because just a simple like move towards the player function isn't working. But let's see. The distance between grunt 3W is 300 pixel, 3000 pixels, and the grunt is ready to shoot. Fire a bullet from grunt at position, grunt center, yada yada yada. Towards player at a speed of 2000 pixels, and then if the distance is and it's reloading, make it move towards the player. So we're probably gonna go with let's do we'll do move to a position. Player dot X player.y yeah, so we'll just do that with the grunt and see if it goes from there. And then of course the overall speed, let's see, acceleration is greater than 0, then change the animation to walk, and if acceleration of grunt is less than or equal to 0, change the animation to idle. Do you think you'll find a way to do controller vibration for the shooting commands and get hit? That would be really cool. I'm trying to see if there is a function where you can do that, because right now, because my plan is sometime down the line, once I get the functions put together that for like the PC function of the game, once I get all the functions down, I want to map it to where it has controller support. Do I think this is going to make it to consoles? Highly unlikely. But what I would like to do is, like, a lot of people still like to play with controllers even if they're playing PC games. And there is a behavior function that can actually map the functions to controller buttons and inputs. So that's something I do plan on doing later, and if there is a vibration function, that would be really helpful. Or that'd be a nice little touch, so to say. So let's test this out again. Oh, yep, he's walking. Yep, he was walking. He was closing the distance. It looked a little awkward, but the function is there. Okay, we'll close that. Something I want to do for it real quick. We'll save that first. And then we're going to go to the properties. Properties and icons. Resources, is that what it is? No. Close that window. Because something I'm wanting to do is... Oh, you got ammo packs going. That's cool. Yes, I do. I don't know... I mean, and it's also been a couple of weeks since I've gone live and actually worked with that. And I also just didn't notice that health and ammo displays are not readily seen because of the stream frame here. But yes, you have a pickup that can replenish your health, and I have a pickup for each of the ammo types that I'm working with right now. So pistol, bullets, and shotgun shells. And so once you pick those up, they increase your ammo by so much, and it will go from there. Let's see. Scene properties? Is that what it is? No. Well, this is the scene editor. What am I talking about? Properties and icons. Oh, game resolution. Okay. Give me just a moment, because I want to actually change the camera view display to like a 4:3 aspect ratio. HD 4:3 aspect. Pixel dimensions. I'm typing this up in a browser window, so let's see. High resolution just is 24. 1400 by 1050. Okay. Apply. So that, okay. Because, I don't know, I just feel like a 4:3 aspect ratio would be a nice little touch. Especially since I'm going for a dated sort of feel for this. So, close that window there. A cool new song, by the way. Thank you. I've had a lot of great feedback on Venom 2025 and Fragment 2025 as well. Lots of folks have been sharing a lot of their opinions on the re-recordings and saying that they've been loving it so far. Combining it, like, really combines great writing along with you know, just really hard-hitting with really hard-hitting production. Here, I'm gonna take this game frame here and shrink it just a little bit so you can see everything going on right now. There we go. All right. So, let's see how this new aspect ratio looks. Cool. So everything's looking all right. I just need to get the text a little better spaced out. Doom. Yes. Quake is also becoming Quake is also becoming quite a bit of an inspiration on this. Wait, the beginning sounded like that. Yeah. Still an awesome song. Thank you. I had I reached out to Glenn Remsen of Lithos Cry. I was on the Raven's Heart podcast with him, I don't know, a month or two back, I think. And even though I've had like new music out fairly recently, like what he wanted to feature on the show and kind of start a conversation around was the original Venom. This was like before, this is a good distance of time before I even announced that the re-recordings were coming. And, you know, he really loved the original and it really spoke to him. And so, like, we had a really good conversation on the topic of forgiveness and everything like that. And then so whenever the Venom 2025 came out, I sent him directly the YouTube link and asked him what his opinion was. And I liked his feedback. He said the production is very polished while still remaining like raw and having a lot of like that cool energy that comes with it. And I felt like that was great because that gave me the feed. That was the goal that I was shooting for. All right. Let's see. What else do I want to do? I think there's a way that I can add filters on here as well. So properties. Because something I would like to do on here is put a filter where the camera has like a CRT filter over it, and that would be also a really cool touch for like the vintage aesthetic that I am going with here. Save that, yes. Let's see. Is there like camera filters, something like that? Here, I'll just open up a browser window. Camera filters, gdevelop. Do you think you'll have a slight orange tint as the filter as well? I don't think so because it's one of those things, you don't want to like overdo it, but there are a few other things that I'm going to be putting in here that will be really branding specific. So like, for example, the Firebrand diamond, like what you see up here next to my logo, that's going to be a reworked version of that is going to be that's going to be a official symbol for the Metanoia, which is the resistance group whose perspective you're playing as to one extent or another. But it's also going to be a pickup that, like I think I've said before, the digital currency that you'll be able to earn by killing bad guys and picking up tokens of different values will allow you to buy in-game cosmetics like custom user interfaces, at least in-game. Upgrade. I'm thinking upgrades for your weapons, at least one upgrade per weapon, and then like a health upgrade and ammo capacity. And then and I'm sure there'll be a couple other things that I can make unlockable, but that would be something very branding specific, and I don't feel like that would be going overboard. You know what I mean? Let's see. Like that idea, I always thought that the diamond looks like a game token. Yeah, some time ago, whenever I was first playing with the idea of a video game, I was thinking like, this had to be some sort of pickup item at some point in time. Okay, the browser said G-Develop offers camera filters and effects to be applied to layers or objects within a scene. For instance, you can add a blur effect to the top and bottom of an entire layer of an object to simulate a tiny world. Or camera focus effect. Additionally, there's a CRT effect available that simulates all cathode ray tubed visions. Okay, so does that mean I have to actually look for a filter? Asset store. Filters. Okay. Back. New object from scratch, maybe? I'm not sure. Maybe it's supposed to be in behaviors. Bear with me as I'm kind of figuring this out. Add a new object. Oh, extensions. Here we go. Maybe there's some here. Unique identifiers, variables. Nope. Sprite. Oh, effects. Let's see. Effects. Let's see. CRT. Okay. Let's try this out. This could go horribly, but let's just see. Close window. Well, I think this probably needs something to actually be put on top first. UI. Yeah, cancel. You know what? I have an idea. I'm gonna save what I got so far, and then I'm gonna make like a first actual user interface here. So we are going to get out of GDevelop real quick. We're gonna go to Affinity. Switch over the application capture. Okay, cool. Alright, Affinity, and what were the dimensions again? 1400 by 1050. Okay. No, I don't want... Okay. Oh, wait, that's wrong dimensions. Okay. Alright. Now we got it. Create. And then, of course, we want this as a transparent background. Okay. Trying to think. Oh, you know what? I think I have an idea. Do you think we'll have a map to view in the selection menu? Yeah, I think a map of some kind would be helpful. I don't know how complicated that would be. Something I would decide on, and how exactly it would show up I would decide on as the levels are starting to take shape. Once I get the functions done, and then I start making level layouts, depending on how complex they might be, I might not even add really a map at all. It just would be one of those things where I would build into the environment something that would be intuitive for you to know where to go, at least, so you don't get lost. But we'll just see. It'll be something that, you know, if it does not become something, if it ends up being something that people kind of need, then it's like, okay, yeah, I'll include that. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is, I think I'm gonna go with... Here we go, we want to inner bevel. And then, let's see, with... Oh, I know what I want to do. So, let's make... Gotta put this behind there. We will make it gray. Kind of give this an effect like a, see how well we can give like an extrusion. No, let's do 3D. Whoops. Hold on. That's not what I wanted. Okay. thinking. Let's do trapezoid. And then let's do... We're going to put it behind... Give it like a 3D effect here. Let's see. Get that. Actually, I feel like that needs to be round just because. And I might change things a lot later, but this is just an idea that I'm having. That didn't work. I need a reference. Some people might question my testosterone level for doing this, but I'm going to go to Pinterest for some inspiration here. And so you guys can see what my references are being. I'm going to change over the application capture. Brave browser. Here we go. So let's see. Ooh, that's cool. Okay, can't get distracted. Game interface, game UI, futuristic, edgy. Let's see if that gets us anything. Oh, that's cool. I've got that saved as a design inspiration there. I like a lot of like cyberpunk brutalism. And that's really, it seems like what we're getting here is like brutalist poster designs. Let's see. Mine's pretty low, so you should be good. Oh, whatever. Let's see. 90s shooter UI. Let's just take two. Let's take to Brave. Let's see. I gotta be careful going to Reddit, but let's see. I'm sure there's some. Oh, those are actual games. No. Well, some of them are. Not what I'm looking for, but that is interesting. Let's see. I was hoping for. 90s video game UI. Good lord. Doom UI. I like that. That's funny. Good grief, I am not getting results that I was hoping for. Let's go back to Pinterest. Let's see. 90s. Whoops. Block. 90s video game. Good grief. 90s video game UI. Oh, that's cool. That's this is the UI from the original Xbox. Now that, talk about imaginative. Oh, that's cool. Well, I'm not using Google, I'm using Brave, which usually gives me better results than what I had been whenever I look on Google itself, but this was a bit of a letdown. Okay, this could be something. It's a weird shape, but that could work for the, like, turn of the millennium type of aesthetic that I could work with. That's pretty good too, but I think to start off with, something like this could work. So let's see. Let's just get the pen tool out. Just make a shape here. All right, and then let's clean this up a little bit. Okay, that's something. And then, let's see. We'll fill this in with some light gray. We'll add like a bevel and emboss and some 3D effect here, so. Let's see, pillow. I'm just experimenting with ideas right now, but it's like, we'll open the node tool. Let's see about taking that 3D effect off. No, we'll keep it, but I need to soften that bevel and get that shadow to sit where I want it to. Let's do emboss. Trying to get this to sit just the way I like it. I mean, aren't we all? But let's see. Inner? Yeah, inner works better. Alright, so now this is where we'll put in like an ellipse. This is where I can see the turn of the Millennium design coming out. We're going to fill this with an orange orange color here. And then we're going to do 3D radius. Okay, make it look like a ball. Little bevel and emboss there just to make it look like it's something that's been stuck in there. Actually, let's make the radius just a little smaller. No, I have an idea. Wait. Let's see, filters. Give me just a second. Little selfie girl's hungry. All right. Is there like some sort of texture or whatever like that? Make his shape smooth bars. Waves? You should bring your cat in one of your live streams. Believe it or not, a cat or two actually ends up showing up in here. They're just right out of view, so you can't see them. Let's see. Sine wave. Trying to see about some textures to add on this, because I got an idea for how this could actually work for UI and everything. I just need to let's see, let's add noise to it maybe. Gaussian, uniform, no. Let's see, filters. Ooh, that could be what I'm looking for here. Width. Apply. Okay, not quite, but I feel like I'm onto something here. FFT noise, opacity, width. Okay, I just need to grab some like a light bulb texture or something like that. Not necessarily a light bulb, but like a warning light or something like that. This could work. So we'll save image as downloads. Bring that in here. Okay. Then... like, this could look gaudy as can be, but let's just try it out. And then I'm going to take Infernos himself. Actually, let's bring down the opacity of this just a little bit. Okay, that's filling mid-2000s there. Infernos, my man here. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Just because first-person shooters oftentimes had the character that you were playing as somewhere in the UI. So, felt like, you know, for the sake of tradition, that could be something that we can do. Let's see. Let's just have it to where it seems like his legs disappear underneath the kind of like he's popping out of the UI element here. Okay. That'll be a stand-in. I actually think he needs to be like just standing by himself and not having holding a specific gun, but for right now. Let's see. We're gonna transform. We're gonna flip this horizontally. Actually, this ellipsis here should actually be... Let's make that red to signify that we're counting health here. And then blue because we're going to be counting ammo with this one. And it would just be a color to differentiate itself with. So fill, we're going to go with blue. Let's just turn the saturation down on that, and then only and isolate. Yeah, isolate that only to that. So then, and then I can just have something there that will be, the picture of the gun will, it'll change based on the current gun. Okay. And then we need to make sure that our effects here are confined to And then you'll have your stats here. And then what we need now is we need a target, of course. Sophie's just kind of wandering around. We're going to go with a donut shape. Make it really thin. We're going to make this kind of gray, just kind of. We're going to make this absolute center. And we're also going to take out... Whoa, 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 okay. I just undid a whole bunch of stuff because I pressed the wrong button. Alright, donut tool, we're gonna make this really thin. And we are going to make this gray, like a very light gray. And I'm gonna erase a couple parts of this. Actually, the hardness on that erase brush needs to be higher. That's strange. Okay. Let's try that again. That's not working. Okay, plan beta. Stroke. Okay. Then I'm going to make this greater than 1 point, and we're going to make it to where the pressure cool. Yeah, that's a little more what I was looking for. And then we're going to duplicate this, flip this horizontally. Whoops. Okay. We'll put a dot just in the middle of this. We'll have the pressure regularly for that one. We'll make the strokes smaller as well. Okay. Looks like that's about right at the center there. And then we're going to combine these into a group. And then that... Is that going to be his helmet? This is roughly going... This is going to be the default UI for the game, and then Like I said, if somebody wants to have a different one, they'll be able to unlock something like that later. Alright, we're going to center that, and then we'll do... No, we won't do bevel and emboss. We'll just do 3D. Yeah, I'm going to go for that skeuomorphism type of feeling here. See, we'll do the same. So, let's see. Alright, combine these into a group. And same for these. Because then I'm going to play with, let's see, I'll have Infernos sit out here. I'm going to play with the perspective on this as well because, you know, turn of the millennium type of design had fun with a lot of skeuomorphism. Distort perspective. So let's, whoops. We'll apply that and just see how that works. And then do the same here. Distort perspective. Apply. Move this over here. Alright, let's just see how this works. So we are going to file save as one textures. Hi, Selfie. Mac UI. Save that project, and then we're going to export this. UI1. And we'll just set that into the default folder. Quit, and then OpenGDevelop back up. And okay, so this is going to be interesting. I'm going to take out new sprite here. You're going to add a sprite, import images, UI1. User interface. Cool. Pull that in. Then we're going to take the text and we're going to move it in where it fits in there. And I plan on having a spot over here where the gun... I'm going to go from there. I'm going to tilt this ever so slightly. That helmet, even though you've never played them, looks sort of like the helmet you have in the original Dead Space 1. Also, everything you do looks beyond confusing. Actually, I have played the Dead Space games. I've only played Dead Space 1. But my wife has an original Xbox, and she encouraged me to play the Dead Space games and see how exactly they work. So I kind of actually, I do see what you're talking about. You say everything I do looks beyond confusing. Are you just talking about the like process for making the images? All right, let's see how this works here. Oh, you know what? I didn't put that on the I didn't put that on the I didn't put that on the UI layer. That was silly of me. Let me try that one more time. Okay, UI. Don't mess with that. Sorry, Sophie is trying to nom on my wall foam. Okay, and then we're gonna bring this down some to like 2, I think. Okay. Don't mess with that. Okay. All right, let's try this one more time. Okay. Getting there. So this needs to be a little bigger, it seems. Okay. Move this over to the right a little bit. Okay. Then I guess the text needs to be made a little bigger. Move this text over just a little bit. All right, we're getting there. Okay, we got the starts of something here. Okay. Health needs to be moved over. Well, everything needs... Both of these need to be moved over just an inch. But hey, it's something. And then, let's see, because this is what's kind of being the overlay for everything here, then it's... Oh, okay. Effects. Type, let's do CRT. Sick! Okay, we're getting there. Yeah, dude, I think that looks pretty dang cool. All right, let's see. Let's play with the noise frequency a little bit. Let's turn it to 40. Interlaced line speed. I think that's fine. Curvature. It's just for poops and giggles. Let's put 4. Line width. Fine. Noise between 1 and 2. Nah, that'll be fine. Vignette somewhere between 0 and 1. Let's do 5 just to. And vignette alpha, we'll do 1. Okay, never mind. That vignette is. Let's just not do a vignette on that, actually. Yeah, the only problem is we're getting, like, with the HUD flashes, we're having some awkward dithering or something like that going on in here. So let's see. Vignette alpha between 1 and 1. Yeah, we're not even going to bother with vignetting. Noise size, let's look at the interlacing speed. Let's try to half that. Curvature, noise frequency, let's do 30 because we don't want it to be like overkill. Doesn't seem like there's anything I can do as far as the HUD flashes. But hey, that's something. Let's see if I can see what else I can do with the I'm just playing with some of the settings now. Line width, noise, let's bring the noise down to 1. Let's just see how that looks. Okay, yeah, that's a lot more subtle. I can work with that. Yeah, the only problem is I have is the HUD flashes and everything look, maybe if I made them... Say hi to everybody, Sophie. Hey, everybody. Let's see, because it's underneath where that HUD is at. Maybe if I brought it to 4. if I brought it over where the filter's at, that looks better. And it happens so quickly you can't even really tell. No, never mind. Well, the only other thing I can think of is, like, increase the size of the HUD blinks to where it's not as invasive. Nah. That doesn't really work. That doesn't really fix that either. I'll figure something out, but that's some pretty good progress for what we're doing starting off with. And I'll probably mess around with the... Oh, dropped a pick. But I'll probably mess around with the UI and everything like that a little more. But, I mean, I'm just hacking away a little by little as I can, because, you know, I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to make something work here. I have an idea and doing my best to actualize it. Something that I'm trying to figure out is another way to give visual feedback for whenever your shots are landing. I'd like to have some sparks or something like that show up at the point of impact, at least when you're firing with bullets. You will get a rocket launcher, or that's a plan anyway that I have. And that's going to require a whole nother firing process in order for me to make that happen. But I mean, can't get too ahead of myself, but that's an idea that I've kind of been thinking of doing. We'll put this back at 0 because I'd like to be able to click on everything else and move it. Inch that over just a little bit. Hopefully that doesn't... Let's make the text size 60 for each of these. Yeah, that looks a lot more. Dude, that's cool. That is a great idea. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of things that would make sense from a player's perspective, which, I mean, of course, is what you're wanting to do in all cases. Yeah, so it's like... Let's see. Okay. Cast ray from center of camera against enemies. Number of enemies picked. Okay, we have it to where it plays a sound. Let's do... Let's just try enemies.x. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? And then, it'll create a spark. And we'll put the same thing for whenever it's in collision with shotgun as well. All right, and then we'll set a condition to where the spark is always looking at the worst that could happen is your work crashes and you have to start all over. I mean, yeah, that does suck. The likelihood is the likelihood is not as there as it usually would be, though. Angle set to player. Player dot angle plus 90. And then, am I getting a call? Hold on. Oh no, I'm having an alarm. That's what it is. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's about 7:30, so I will be getting to a stopping point and then starting to wind down because I do have work tomorrow. So add sub event below. Animation. Animation's finished. Of Spark is finished. Delete. And we will copy that. Alright, let's see how this works, because I don't know how well this is going to do. Yeah, right now, nothing. I can't remember. Is it a 3D sprite, or... Whoops, no. Yeah, that's not working. I don't know. But yeah, definitely gonna have to work on that a little bit. Little side note, so because there is some underlying religious themes with this game, you mentioned, Corey, that the helmet for the main character looked a lot like Isaac's from Dead Space, and that does resemble it really well. But I actually took inspiration from Templar Knight helmets, particularly ones that were from the Second Crusade, whenever the Templar military became a little more established and started having more and their helmets were cylindrical. Of course, I went through a handful of great helm designs before I decided on one that I liked. It's one that was cylindrical, but it had a little bit of a bevel at the top. And that's what I figured would work for this, because, like, I can't remember if I mentioned who this guy is or not. His name is Infernos, coming from the, of course, Latin rendering of the word inferno. And I kind of came up with him just because for a game that's going to be very simple and is not going to really feed you the story right in front of your face and everything, and it's just going to be very straightforward like Doom, Quake, and a lot of these other 90s FPSs had, I needed a character that was going to be something that would just be like this, I mean, much like a Doom guy. And so I came up with this guy, and because, you know, it's attached to other media that I'm going to be doing, this this character, like Infernos, is not just my Doom guy, but he's also kind of like my Vic Rattlehead, you know, the character that's on most Megadeth albums, or Eddie the Head, that's on every Iron Maiden album cover. You know, he's a mascot in many ways. And it would be really cool to have somebody, you know, like in a costume or something for this, and have this be part of the shows and everything like that. But we'll get there eventually. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here, because this is I think this is about as far as I can get right now and actually accomplish something. If I were to start anything else, I'd probably be stopping in the middle of it. But thank you to everybody who is watching this. I know I've had more viewers than who were active in the chat, and that is absolutely okay. But yeah, definitely like and subscribe, hit the bell notification button if you like what's going on, so you don't miss any of these live videos or any of the music to come, because there are going to be music and marketing efforts and everything like that for this. So definitely keep an eye out if you want to support the channel. Buy the music, whether it be on firebrand.site, your favorite online digital retailer, and also consider becoming a member of the Fire Tribe, which is my Patreon. Link is in the description. For $10 a month, you're able to get all of my past releases and future releases at no additional cost. I'm working to where you'll also be able to get a 10% off coupon that you'll be able to use at any given time, and it is renewable after each year. And we're working on getting to where we'll have some regular, like say monthly calls on Discord. We're not very active on a chat, but it's a great place to be able to do online calls and just interact and shoot the breeze and talk about stuff that we like talking about. But yeah, thank you guys so much for jumping on here. I'm going to go ahead and call it a night here. Thank you, Corey, for being active in the chat. And yeah, thank you for everybody who's also watching this afterwards.